the truth or reality of the world. As cause alone is seen as its effect, and since consciousness, Brahman, which is the cause, is as clearly true as an amalaka fruit on one's palm, this vast universe, its effect, which is described in the scriptures as mere names and forms, may also be called true.
Sadhu Om.
Brahman has 5 aspects. Satchit Ananda Nama Rupa, i.e., being, awareness, bliss, name, and form. The first 3 aspects are real, being eternally self-shining, whereas name and form are unreal aspects, since they merely seem to exist depending upon the illumination of Satchit Ananda. If, however, one sees the cause, Satchit Ananda, which is real, one may say, ignoring the apparent names and forms, that this universe is also real.
When viewed from the standpoint of the eternally self-existent cause, even the 3, 7, or 21 worlds will appear to be real. But when one sees only the names and forms of the world as real, then even Brahman, their cause, will appear to be absolutely non-existent or void, sunya.
The 3, 7, and 21 worlds occur in different traditional cosmological classifications.
For the sake of those ignorant ones who take the world, which appears before them, as real and enjoyable, it became necessary for the scriptures to say that it is God's creation. But for those who have obtained unobstructed knowledge of self, the world is seen merely as a bondage-causing mental imagination. This world of empty names and forms, which are the imagination of the 5 senses and an appearance in the pure Supreme Self, should be understood to be the mysterious play of Maya, the mind, which rises as if real from self, Sat Chit.
The origin of Maya, meaning that which is not, is unknown. It appears functioning in man as mind, and is inferred in God through his actions, sustenance, and dissolution of this whole universe. It ends on being seen to be non-existent when the truth is known. The seer, known as mind or I, and the seen, known as the world, rise and set simultaneously in self. If self sees itself through itself, it is self. If it sees itself through the mind or seer, it appears as the world or seen.
The realized who do not know anything as being other than self, which is absolute consciousness, will not say that the world, which has no existence in the view of the Supreme Brahman, is real.
The Tamil word Iraivanis, usually understood as meaning God, the Lord of this world, and as Bhagavan has elsewhere explained, the trinity of soul, world, and their Lord will always appear to coexist in Maya, and thus the apparent world does exist in the view of its apparent Lord God. Therefore, on seeing this verse, Bhagavan remarked, "Who said that there is no world in God's view?" But when the author, Sri Muruganar, explained that he had used the word in the sense of the Supreme Brahman, Sri Bhagavan accepted this meaning and approved the verse.
O man, like a parrot waiting expectantly for the silk cotton fruit to ripen, you persist in your sufferings, believing this world appearance to be real and enjoyable. If the world is real simply because it appears to your senses, then a mirage would be water.
The fruit of a silk cotton tree always remains green, not turning color even after ripening. The parrot, meanwhile, waits expectantly, hoping to eat it when it changes color, but is finally disappointed when it bursts, scattering its hairy seeds.
Forgetting self, which gives you the seer light to see, and being confused, do not run after this appearance, the world which you see. The appearance will disappear, and is hence not real, but self, the source of you, the seer, can never disappear. So know that that alone is real. Is the word real befitting to this world, which is seen only by the illusory and changeful mind, but not by self, the source of mind?
As self knows itself alone to be, any imagination such as this world is entirely non-existent to it, and thus is never seen by it.
Fear not on seeing this empty world, which appears as a dream in the sleep of self-forgetfulness. This imaginary and bondage-causing world picture, projected on the background of the dark, dense mind, will not stand in the light of supreme knowledge, Sat Chit Ananda. O aspirants who hide yourselves away, fearing this world, nothing such as a world exists. Fearing this false world which appears to exist is like fearing the false snake which appears in a rope. This world is only seen without doubts in the waking and dream states where thoughts have risen and are at play. Can it be seen in sleep where not even a single thought rises? Thoughts alone, therefore, are the substratum of this world. If it is thus said that this world is a mere play of thoughts, why, even when the mind is quiet, does the world seen, like a dream, suddenly appear in front of us? That is due to the stored momentum of past imaginations. Just as the spider emits the thread of its web out from its own mouth and again withdraws it back, so the mind projects the world out from itself and again absorbs it back within. When the mind passes through the brain and the five senses, the names and forms of this world are projected out from within. When the mind abides in the heart, they return and lie buried there. This world, full of differences of names and forms, will remain as the undifferentiated Brahman when these are removed. The ignorant one masks the Supreme with imaginary names and forms, and, being thereby self-deluded, sees him as the world. The deceptive I am the body idea alone makes the world, which is an appearance of names and forms, seem real, and thereby it at once binds itself with desires for the world. Since this world of dyads and triads appears only in the mind, like the illusory ring of fire formed in darkness by whirling the single point of a glowing rope end, it is false, and it does not exist in the clear sight of self. O worldly-minded man who is unable to understand the wise reasoning and the teachings of sages about the supreme knowledge, if properly scrutinized, this big universe of delusion is seen to be nothing but the elusive play of the vasanas, mental tendencies, within you. Like the illusory yellow seen by a jaundiced eye, the whole world that you see before you is the product of your own mind, which is full of deceptive vices such as desire, anger, lust, and so on. In reality, however, it is the plenitude of pure jnana. Just as yellow fades away in the sunlight, the appearance of this world disappears in the light of self-knowledge, and therefore it cannot be a creation of the Supreme Self. It is merely like the beautiful color designs which appear on a peacock's plumage. That is to say, it is only the reflection of the vasanas within you.
Yellow, in South India, refers to turmeric, whose stain fades away in sunlight. Beautiful color designs, which are not seen on each individual peacock feather, appear on its plumage, due to the combination and positioning of many feathers.
This world is a mere illusion seen in the deluded objective sight of the ego, which is simply the I am the body idea. In the sight of self-knowledge, however, it is as false as the apparent blueness in the sky. How does this false and villainous vast world that cheats and ravages the minds of all people except the wise come into existence? For no reason other than our error in falling away from, instead of clinging to, self-attention. This life, an illusion based upon our likes and dislikes, is an empty dream which appears as if real during the sleep of ignorance, but is found to be false when one wakes up into self-knowledge. When the mind is lost in pure supreme self-consciousness, all the powers which seem to function through the mind, such as ichha, willpower, kriya, the power of action, and jnana, the power of knowing, will cease, being found to be imaginary. The projected picture of this world of triads is a play of Chit Para Shakti, i.e., the power or reflected light of self-consciousness, on the screen of supreme consciousness. The appearance of this illusory world, which is seen as real, is just like the serpent seen in a rope, the thief seen in a tree stump, or the water seen in a mirage. The various ornaments fashioned out of gold are not different from the gold, and similarly, this world of moving and unmoving things, manifested out of self, cannot be other than self. Self is hidden when the world appears, but when self shines forth, the world will disappear. Being different in nature, like the seemingly real dog seen in a stone statue, both cannot be seen together.
Sadhu Om.
The nature of self, the true aspect of Brahman, is not these names and forms, whereas the nature of the world, the false aspect of Brahman, is not Satchit Ananda, so both cannot be seen simultaneously.
This world which appears concealing self is a mere dream, but when concealed by self, it remains as none other than self. This whole world of triads which deludes us, seeming to be an undisputable reality, is only the form of the supreme power, Chit Shakti, which abides eternally as none other than the supreme self. As the fire shines hidden within the smoke, the light of knowledge shines hidden within the names and forms of this world. When the mind is made clear by supreme grace, the nature of the world is found to be real as self, and it will appear no more as the illusory names and forms. For those who never lose the true knowledge of self, which is the base of all sense knowledge, the world also is nothing other than self-knowledge. But how can an ordinary man, who has not gained self-knowledge, understand the statement of sages who, seeing through jnana, say that the world is real? Those who have given up worldly, i.e. sense knowledge and attachment to it, and who have destroyed the evil force of mind, i.e. Maya, thus gaining supreme self-consciousness, alone can know the correct meaning of the statement. The world is real. If one's outlook is changed into jnana, divine wisdom, seen through that, the entire universe, consisting of the 5 elements such as ether and so on, will be found to be real, being the supreme knowledge itself. Thus, you should see, if one's outlook is changed into jnana, seen through that, this same world, seen previously as a hell of misery, will be found to be a heaven of bliss. As per the saying, the seen cannot differ from the seeing eyes. The jnani, whose eye, i.e. outlook, has become Sat Chit Anandadui, to the cessation of all mental activities, sees this world also as Sat Chit Ananda. The appearance of this world, like the illusory appearance of a dream, is merely mental, and its truth, therefore, can be known correctly only by the supreme consciousness that transcends Maya, the mind. O foolish, illusory mind, deluded by seeing the daily dream, which is nothing but your mind's own nature, if you discern the true nature of your own self, which is Sat Chit Ananda, can this world be anything other than that? This empty world, bewildering with multiplicity, is, in its original state, unbroken uniform bliss, just as the multicolored peacock is, in its original state, the single-colored yellow egg yolk. Abide as self and know this truth. Those who have attained their aim, jnana, do not see this world as a multitude of differences, since the multiple differences of this world are a sportive play of Chit Shakti, the one whole. For the jnani, who, free from the I am the body idea, is established in self, this world shines as his own self-knowledge, and therefore it is wrong for us to see it as something different, as multiple names and forms. By turning selfward, you destroy your delusion, this world. What then remains as this is void is known by you, self. So, to destroy this apparent void as well, Drown it in the ocean of self-knowledge. If you abide in the heart as Sat Chit, I am, by which the whole universe exists and shines, then this world will also become one with you, losing its false, frightening dualities. He who knows this world appearance to be his own form, supreme consciousness, experiences the same consciousness even through his five senses.